toxic masculinity.
Woman who coughed on Uber driver gets 2 felony charges.
Yeah, okay. So this is actually more of a story about I think well, at least for me, I don't think of it so much as a woman who coughed on an Uber driver or a woman who refused to wear her mask or anything like that. I think of this as a complete lack of respect for your fellow human being. That's how I would classify this. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I was always against mask. I don't like mask.
Yeah, I'm on her side for the
from
mask
from
thing.
the beginning, but every time when I go somewhere, I respect the business rules.
That's right. Well, not just respecting the business rules, but respecting the other people who have to enforce them.
Yeah,
Because
I already said it before. I respect other people's stupidity in terms of masks.
not just in terms of masks, in terms of lots of things. I mean, if somebody's working at a company and the rule at the company is X, it's like, I get that you have to like enforce this thing, so I'm not going to be a total jerk to you until they become unreasonable about it, and then I'll maybe have words with them. And
Well, I don't know. Well, like one time, I wait for elevator, and elevator came. There's a woman with the full-on equipment, and
hazmat suit.
I walked in, and she was like, "Oh, do you have mask? Can you wear a mask?" I was like, "Oh, well, okay. I'll just wait for another elevator." I didn't stand there. I was like, "You get off, or we will." I didn't have any arguing with her. I just, okay, I'll wait for another elevator. Walked out.
I did totally the opposite. I walked into an elevator once, and there's 3 people in, and somebody goes, "There's already 3 people in here. There's only allowed 3 people. It's a 3-people limit."
2.
Well, in this particular place, that's what they thought. And I looked at them and I was like, "You're kidding, right?" And they go, "No, you have to be very serious. You have to be very serious with this," or whatever. I don't remember exactly what I said after that, but trust me, it was brilliant and funny.
Well, I do not like to argue with people. I just, okay, whatever, move on.
Well, I like to argue with people. I think I said something along the lines of, you guys are like lemmings or something. I don't know. Somebody was probably shot. It's Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen. We get a lot of sirens. All right, so without further ado, let's watch this video. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty crazy. This woman just has a total lack of respect for her fellow human beings. It's mental. Okay, let me switch the audio here.
Hey, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? My property. Don't. Now you about to get beat the fuck up. Yeah, now you about to get beat the fuck up. Now you about to get beat the fuck up. What's up? You don't talk to my property. I don't give a bitch. You don't buy it. I don't give a about it. I work hard for it. You're not in the middle of nowhere. So what's up? Hell no. So bitch ass like this. Kick us out in the middle of the fucking thing. Are you stupid? I really have to like do something. Did I told you to get out in the gas station? You didn't.
Yeah,
That was like recently, this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, it was recently. So this girl got charged with like 2 felonies or something like that, right? I don't know. Oh, hold on. I need to turn that. Let me stop this. I don't know if that's the appropriate response to felony charges, but definitely, I'm glad she's punished in some way, or there's some kind of recognition that she's wrong here because she was crazy.
So 2 felonies. What is she facing? Like,
Well, you want me to read the story?
prison? Yeah.
Let's get into it. I wasn't actually going to read the story. I was going to talk a little bit about it, but let's see here. Woman who coughed on an Uber driver slapped him 2 felony charges. The woman whose coughing attack on a San Francisco Uber driver went viral this week was charged Wednesday with multiple felonies for the alleged crime. Excuse me. Arna Kimia? I don't know. Who refused to wear a mask while inside the vehicle is facing 1 count of attempted robbery. See, this is the New York Post. I think they would have written a better story than this. I don't think it was the fact that she refused to wear a mask, but that's kind of how it reads here. I don't think that was why she was, is facing these charges, but he's facing 1 count of attempted robbery and 1 count of assault on a transportation driver. Attempted robbery. I think that's probably not really true.
Well, she grabbed his phone.
She grabbed his phone. I don't know if that's attempted robbery. Actually, I guess you could count it like that. Kim Mi-yai was also charged with 2 misdemeanor offenses: 1 count of battery on a transportation driver and 1 count of violating COVID health protocols. Well, that's a little silly. So that part of it is actually her not.
So she faces up to 15
16 years in prison and $3,000 fine. That's pretty crazy. Now, I don't know. In the video, she can be seen deliberately coughing on.
I wouldn't do up to 15 years. It sounds crazy.
Subakar.
Chris, your mic is your volume is way down. Your mic.
My mic's volume is way down.
Yeah.
All right, is this better? I'm just not talking into the mic. I didn't have it positioned correctly. I think. Okay, that should be better. How's your volume?
I think mine is good. No?
I mean, the levels are fine, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway.
Another super chat from same person. Stop giving us money. MJ Jackson.
Yes.
I used to drive Lyft in Toledo.
Toledo.
The
Ohio.
people from the hood were something else.
The people from the hood. Yeah, these are definitely ghetto people. These are not like normal charming folks from the suburbs, I don't think.
Chris, I'm sorry, but come to Maine and I will go do my best to steal your wife. You actually want to go
I'm up for the challenge. Yeah, I'm up for the challenge. Yeah. The person that compiles our scripts for the show, that compiles the news stories, she lives in Maine. And so we want to visit. Maine. We may do that. You're welcome to try to steal Valeria from me. That'll be fun. Let's see here. Deliberately coughing on driver Subakar Kada while laughing and yelling racial slurs. At one point, she grabs the mask off Kada's face and attempts to grab his phone off the dashboard. Police also noted that Kim Mi-yai sprayed what they believe is pepper spray in... why does everybody have a crazy name in this story? I can't read anybody's name.
Crazy people have crazy names.
The driver's name is crazy too. Kadka's car before leaving. So I think this guy must be Indian, and I seen this. I saw this story obviously on Twitter, and I knew he was an Indian guy. But I posted on Twitter about this, and I wrote that. This is why I wrote actually at New York Times. This is why Hispanic men are voting Republican, right? And I actually wrote as a disclaimer, obviously this guy's Indian, but the same reasons still apply. Now, the reason I wrote that was because the New York Times had recently written an article. Actually, I can show you guys here. Written an article, a vexing question for Democrats. What drives Latino men to Republicans? Right? They're asking this. This is a vexing question. This is not a vexing question to Republicans. Republicans know why Latino men are starting to vote Republican. We understand that. And this is one illustration as to one of the reasons why this sometimes happens, right? And granted, this guy's an Indian, but the same rules apply here, right? And that's what I wrote in my tweet. And a lot of leftists found this tweet and were like big time harassing me. You can still go on my Twitter and look at the responses. They're like, this is the kind of racism is why Republicans are blah 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 blah, and you stupid Republicans, you can't tell the difference between an Indian man and a Mexican man. So okay, here's the problem with the reason my tweet was misinterpreted. The reason that I put the tweet did, the race of the guy doesn't actually matter. Okay. The left is obsessed with race. They're obsessed with race, but the culture of the men does matter, right? The culture of the men does matter, I think, in this question. The question of why Hispanics are voting Republican, or Hispanic men specifically. And the same reason might apply to Indian men. Why an Indian man might vote Republican, same thing. Because a lot of these guys, sometimes first generation, sometimes second generation, Indian Americans or Mexican Americans or people from a lot of different kinds of countries, they come from cultures that are far more respectful cultures, right? They're cultures that respect traditional values and this idea that young people should respect their elders, that people should just respect strangers when they meet them. And when you encounter people in a culture like this, right? I don't know for sure, but it looks like the Uber driver is a lot older than the girls in the back seat. Now, maybe that's just a misperception. I don't know. But when you come from a culture in which younger people are supposed to be respectful of older people, and then people act like this to you, I think you start to think there's something wrong with the culture here in America, right? Where young people think that they have the right to be abusive like this, and this is abusive. This is absolutely unacceptable behavior from anyone. You know, I don't care if you don't want to wear a mask, and I doubt that these women aren't wearing their masks because they have some kind of like political principle against it or anything like that. I doubt they don't seem like the type that are, you know, strongly informed about the, you know, the efficacy of masks. So they just seem like people who just don't want to show respect to the person that they're happen to be with at that moment, right? They're just disrespectful, horrible women. And so the point I was trying to make is that a lot of these men are becoming Republicans because Republicans, you know, they prefer these traditional values of showing respect to people and being proper and this kind of thing. And, you know, I mean, we rebel and we're kind of a-holes when we need to be as well, but not in a case like this. You know, this to me is this is the kind of behavior you get from these kind of leftist types, you know, this kind of attitude. That's what it seems like to me. And that's how I think it's perceived by first generation, second generation people, who respect traditional values from their foreign countries, from their foreign cultures, and then they come here. I think that's at least one of the reasons why people start to vote Republican or start to think that the Democrat philosophy is idiotic. So that's why I wrote that tweet, but it was vastly misinterpreted as me thinking that this guy was Hispanic, which I knew he wasn't because I'd read about the incident as well as seeing the video.
We have another super chat from MJ Jackson.
Oh man, this guy wants to chat.
Yeah, yes, a lot of Hispanic women in my classes agree with me 90% of the time.
Agree with you? Agree with
him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. So let's see here. In my class, I agree with me 90% of the time. Well, I'll be honest, I don't really understand that tweet or that comment. I want to be agreeable, so I say it's a good point, but I don't actually know what that means.
Do you want to move on?
Yeah, shall we move on to the next story?
Yeah.
All right, what do we got? What do we got up next?
Senator, is it Senator? S-E-N that?
Yeah, Senator, yeah.
Okay. Senator Rand Paul tells Fauci, you parade around in 2 masks for show.
For show, yeah.
For show.
So this is from the Daily Caller. Let's go ahead and switch the big screen there. You parade around in 2 masks for show. Senator Rand Paul questions Dr. Fauci on wearing masks after vaccination.
Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.